There is a silent moment in every person's life when something inside them begins to whisper, a gentle yet undeniable realization that true success is not built from effort alone, but from inner clarity. It is the moment you understand that the mind is not merely a tool for thinking, but a bridge to something far deeper, something profoundly spiritual. Earl Nightingale called it the quiet awakening of purpose. Bob Proctor described it as alignment with infinite intelligence. Both were pointing to the same truth. Success begins not in action, but in consciousness, not in strategy, but in vibration, not in the world around you, but in the world within you. And when you start to feel this truth, even faintly, something begins to shift. Your perception sharpens. Your inner dialogue softens. Your emotional state becomes calmer, steadier, more aligned. You begin to sense that life is not happening to you. Life is responding to you. Every thought becomes a signal. Every emotion, a frequency. Every belief, a vibration reshaping the invisible field that surrounds your life. This is the spiritual connection of the success mindset. The awareness that there is no real separation between the mind you use to think and the universe that responds to those thoughts. They are the same substance, the same energy, the same flow. And when this connection becomes clear, you stop fighting with life. You start partnering with it. It begins with clarity, the kind of clarity that does not come from thinking, but from seeing. Seeing who you truly are beneath the noise, the doubt, and the stories that no longer serve you. This clarity is not intellectual, it is spiritual. It is the light that appears when the mind becomes quiet enough for the soul to speak. And from that light emerges the foundation of the success mindset. Because success is not a race, a competition, or a desperate grasp for more. Success is a state of internal coherence where your thoughts, emotions, actions, and identity vibrate in harmony with the life you want to experience. When this harmony exists, results happen faster. Opportunities align more easily. Wealth flows more naturally. Not because the world changes, but because you do. This is why so many people work hard, yet feel stuck. Their actions are powerful, but their vibration is conflicted. They desire prosperity, but they fear lack. They want success, but they identify with limitation. They seek abundance, but they embody doubt. In the spiritual dimension of the mind, nothing can be attracted if the inner signal contradicts the outer desire. This is the invisible paradox that Nightingale and Proctor spent their lives teaching. You cannot attract what you are not aligned with internally. To attract more money, you must align with the frequency of abundance. To attract clarity, you must align with the vibration of certainty. To attract success, you must align with the identity of someone who is already successful within. Everything begins within. And as this truth sinks deeper into your awareness, something remarkable begins to unfold. You start noticing patterns, subtle, powerful patterns that reveal how your inner state influences your outer world. When your mind is cluttered, results stagnate. When your emotions are chaotic, opportunities seem distant. When your beliefs contradict your desires, life slows down, money hides, clarity fades. But when your inner world becomes orderly, when your thoughts become intentional, when your emotions become stable, when your beliefs become expansive, life accelerates, money responds, clarity expands, opportunities multiply, momentum appears without effort. This is not magic, it is alignment. The universe is not random, it is responsive. Your vibration is instruction. Your clarity is command. Your inner state is the architect of your outer reality. And once you understand this, you no longer chase success. You allow it. You no longer force abundance. You receive it. You no longer search for purpose. You embody it. Because clarity is not something you find. Clarity is something you create. And you create it by reconnecting with the spiritual essence of who you are. a being of pure consciousness, capable of shaping reality through the power of thought, emotion, intention, and vibration. This is why Bob Proctor always said, "You don't get what you want, you get what you are." And why Earl Nightingale insisted that the mind, when directed properly, becomes the gateway to every form of abundance. Your external life is the shadow of your internal one. The shadow cannot move unless the source moves first. You are the source. And now, as you breathe into this understanding, you may feel a quiet expansion within you, a widening of awareness, a strengthening of presence. The spiritual connection of the success mindset is opening. You are beginning to sense that life is not asking you to struggle harder, but to align deeper. Because wealth is clarity, success is clarity, purpose is clarity. Clarity is alignment with your higher self, the part of you that already knows exactly where you are going and how to get there. This higher self does not worry because it sees the bigger pattern. It does not doubt because it communicates in vibration, not fear. It does not hustle because it operates from coherence, not chaos. And when you begin to merge with this part of yourself, your life changes in ways that feel almost otherworldly. You begin to attract money with less effort than ever before. You begin to make decisions with greater precision. You begin to feel guided, supported, aligned. Life stops feeling random and starts feeling intentional. But the transformation does not happen through force. It happens through awareness. The awareness that your inner world is your true power. As this awareness expands, you begin to understand why some people seem to attract opportunities effortlessly, while others struggle endlessly. Those who thrive are not necessarily smarter, luckier, or more skilled. They are simply more aligned. They have learned the spiritual dimension of success, the inner clarity that activates the outer flow. And this is the path you are stepping onto now. A path where the universe stops feeling distant and starts feeling like a partner. A path where your intuition strengthens. A path where money becomes a reflection of your harmony instead of a measurement of your struggle. A path where clarity becomes your most powerful form of wealth. Because inner clarity is the vibration that unlocks all forms of abundance. When the mind is clear, creativity flows. When the heart is clear, intuition speaks. When the spirit is clear, purpose reveals itself. And where purpose flows, abundance follows. This is the spiritual connection of the success mindset. And as you move deeper into this journey, you will begin to see that success is not achieved. It is allowed. Not forced, but aligned. Not demanded, but invited through coherence with the infinite intelligence that surrounds and permeates everything. You are not separate from success. You are connected to it. You are not separate from abundance. You are tuned to it. You are not separate from clarity. You are made of it. The more you remember this truth, the more your life will begin to transform from the inside out. Before we continue, take a moment to like this video. Because the more you engage with this kind of transformational content, the more your mind reinforces the vibration of clarity, abundance, and inner alignment. And now, let us go deeper. There is a profound shift that happens when a person begins to understand the spiritual architecture of success, the internal blueprint from which all external results emerge. Most people believe success is built through strategies, methods, or relentless effort. But the truth, the deeper truth, is that success is built through clarity of consciousness. It is clarity that organizes your thoughts. It is clarity that stabilizes your emotions. It is clarity that dissolves resistance. It is clarity that aligns your vibration with abundance. Clarity is not a luxury. Clarity is a frequency. When your inner world vibrates with clarity, life responds with flow. When your mind becomes still and coherent, you access the deeper dimensions of guidance that the subconscious mind offers. Guidance that is not based on logic alone, but on intuition, resonance, and vibrational intelligence. Earl Nightingale understood this when he said that the mind becomes a magnet for whatever you think about. But he wasn't referring to surface thoughts. He was referring to the emotionalized thoughts, the ones soaked in clarity, certainty, conviction. Bob Proctor expanded this by explaining that the subconscious mind is the gateway to the infinite, and the vibration you hold consistently is what determines what you attract. So the real question is, what vibration is your mind holding? When your mind is scattered, you attract scattered results. When it is filled with doubt, you attract delays. When it is confused, you attract confusion. But when your mind becomes clear, truly clear, you unlock a new dimension of life. Clarity is the spiritual signal of readiness. It is the message you broadcast into the universe saying, I am aligned, I am open, I am ready to receive. And the universe responds. You begin to notice subtle shifts. Opportunities that once seemed random now appear precisely when needed. Ideas arrive with perfect timing. People show up with information, support, or connections you didn't even know you would require. This is not coincidence. This is coherence. The invisible synchronization between your internal state and the external world. Clarity is coherence. Coherence is power. Power is vibration. And vibration is the language of creation. Most people try to change their outer circumstances before changing their inner state. They run into the world, hoping for results that match desires they are not mentally aligned with. They want wealth but vibrate scarcity. They want freedom but vibrate fear. They want clarity but vibrate confusion. And they wonder why change feels slow, heavy, or stagnant. But change does not begin with action. Change begins with vibration, and vibration begins with clarity. Clarity is the state where your desires stop competing with your doubts. It is where your emotional field becomes calm enough to feel the deeper currents of intuition. It is where your beliefs begin to rise into harmony with your goals. It is where your identity shifts from someone seeking wealth to someone naturally aligned with it. In this state, the subconscious mind becomes your greatest ally. No longer operating from old patterns, fears, and inherited beliefs, it begins operating from your new identity, the one rooted in certainty, abundance, and purpose. This subconscious alignment is what accelerates your results in ways that seem impossible to those who still live in mental turbulence. Because the subconscious mind does not follow effort, it follows vibration. And when your subconscious vibrates with clarity, everything changes. You begin to feel guided, as though life itself is communicating with you. Your decisions feel easier, smoother, more aligned. You worry less, trust more, and flow with the rhythm of life instead of resisting it. This is not passive surrender. It is intelligent surrender. Aligning your vibration so precisely with what you desire that the journey becomes guided rather than forced. This is the moment when money begins responding differently. You begin to see it not as something external, but as an extension of your consciousness. Money becomes a mirror reflecting your inner clarity. When you are aligned, opportunities for wealth expand. When you are centered, the flow of abundance strengthens. When you are clear, money gravitates toward you because you have finally removed the interference. This is the spiritual dimension of success, not the pursuit of wealth, but the alignment with the frequency that creates it. Clarity is your access point. This clarity comes from understanding who you are beyond your physical identity. A spiritual being with infinite access to ideas, insights, and connections. When you operate from this truth, you elevate your vibration into a state where success becomes a natural expression of your consciousness. And in this elevated state, you no longer feel the need to fight for your goals. You move into a rhythm of receiving. You stop forcing and start allowing. You stop doubting and start trusting. You stop shrinking and start expanding. This expansion is not arrogance. It is alignment with your true nature. Everything expands when you expand, Income, opportunities, creativity, intuition, clarity, purpose. Expansion is the natural state of the universe. And when your vibration aligns with expansion, your life aligns with abundance. This is where the transformation deepens. You begin to understand that clarity is not passive. It is an active vibration you choose daily. Every thought you accept either strengthens or weakens your internal coherence. Every emotion you allow either elevates or lowers your vibration. Every belief you practice either aligns or misaligns your life. Success is not mysterious. Success is coherent consciousness repeated consistently, and you are stepping into that coherence now. You can feel it. That gentle stability rising within you. That quiet knowing that wealth is not something you chase but something you align with. You can feel the vibration lifting, the fog dissolving, the pathways opening. And as you move deeper into this awakening, your mind becomes clearer, your heart becomes lighter, and your life becomes more fluid. This is the power of inner clarity. This is the frequency of success. This is the spiritual connection that transforms your destiny. There comes a moment in every inner transformation when something begins to shift so deeply that it cannot be unseen. A moment when clarity stops being an idea and becomes a presence. A living vibration inside you that quietly reorganizes your entire relationship with success, wealth, and your own power. This is the point where your consciousness stops operating from old patterns and begins to express a new identity from the inside out. At first, this shift feels subtle, almost delicate, like a soft current moving beneath the surface of your awareness. But as you give it attention, as you breathe into it, as you allow it to expand without resistance, it grows stronger. It becomes a new center of gravity within you. And from that center, you begin to perceive the world differently. You start noticing that your reactions are changing. Situations that once triggered doubt now trigger curiosity. Moments that once created fear now awaken clarity. Challenges that once felt overwhelming now feel purposeful. Almost like invitations from the universe to rise to a higher vibration. This is how you know your consciousness is evolving. Earl Nightingale taught that the mind is the most powerful force a person can control, and that the direction we give it determines our destiny. Bob Proctor taught that vibrations, not conditions, shape results. And here, at this stage of your transformation, you begin to understand that these two teachings are actually one single principle. A clear mind is a powerful vibration. Clarity amplifies your signal to the universe. Clarity strengthens your identity. Clarity sharpens your intuition. Clarity aligns your subconscious. Clarity attracts abundance. And clarity, when stabilized, becomes success made visible. What most people never realize is that confusion is not a mental issue. It is a vibrational one. When your vibration is scattered, your thinking becomes fragmented. When your emotion is turbulent, your decisions become reactive. When your identity is uncertain, your results become inconsistent. This is why people struggle to manifest wealth or success even when they believe they are trying their best. Trying is not alignment. Effort is not clarity. Action without coherence is noise. But when your vibration becomes clear, your thoughts line up behind your desires like magnets pulled by a single force. You feel centered, grounded, internally stable. This stability is what the spiritually successful people on this planet have mastered. It is not discipline. It is coherence. They simply do not allow inner turbulence to dictate their vibration. And this is what you are beginning to embody now. There is a sense of spaciousness inside you. Room to breathe, room to think, room to create. That spaciousness is not emotional, it is energetic. Your subconscious is clearing old patterns. Your intuition is gaining strength. Your connection to your inner intelligence is becoming clearer. In this state, your creativity increases because your mind is no longer clogged with fear. Your confidence increases because your identity is no longer rooted in limitation. Your ability to attract wealth increases because your vibration is no longer contradicting your desires. This is the essence of spiritual success. You begin to live from intention rather than reaction. You begin to act from alignment rather than pressure. You begin to speak from certainty rather than doubt. You begin to move through the world as someone who knows they are supported by a higher intelligence. This support is not mystical. It is vibrational. Your subconscious mind is connected to a field of infinite potential, a field that responds to clarity like a tuning fork, responds to vibration. When your clarity increases, your connection strengthens. When your connection strengthens, your results accelerate. This is where the flow begins. You notice that ideas come more easily. You no longer experience long stretches of stagnation. Instead, inspiration drops in spontaneously, in the shower, during a walk, while resting. This is your inner intelligence speaking through the channel of clarity. You notice that people around you respond to you differently, not because you changed your personality, but because your vibration changed. The way you enter a room, the energy you carry, the confidence in your presence, these subtle shifts influence others before you even speak. You broadcast a frequency of certainty that others feel subconsciously. You notice that opportunities that once seemed out of reach suddenly appear attainable, not because the world has changed, but because your self-image has caught up with your potential. Self-image is frequency, and once your frequency rises, your life must rise with it. At this point, wealth begins to lose its heaviness. Money stops feeling mysterious. It begins to feel like something neutral, natural, responsive, an energy that flows according to the clarity of your consciousness. You realize that money is not the goal, it is the expression of coherence. When you are coherent, money flows. When you are fragmented, money hesitates. Wealth is not created by effort. Wealth is created by alignment, and alignment is expressed through clarity. The clearer you become, the more you can feel the truth. Nightingale and Proctor dedicated their lives to teaching. You are not here to chase abundance. You are here to awaken it. You are not here to fight for success. You are here to match it. You are not here to struggle for clarity. You are here to open to it. Because clarity is not something you learn. Clarity is something you remember. It is the natural state of your higher self, and every moment you quiet the noise of the world, you reconnect with that higher self. You tune into its frequency. You receive its guidance. You align with its vision. This is the spiritual connection of the success mindset, and it is becoming stronger within you with every breath. And now, as this block comes to a close, let yourself feel the expansion happening inside you. Feel how clarity is settling into your consciousness like warm light. Feel how your vibration is lifting. Feel how success is becoming not something you wish for, but something you are aligning with. If this message is resonating with you, leave a comment and share what part of this awakening is speaking the loudest to your inner self. There is a powerful moment in the journey of consciousness when inner clarity stops feeling like a temporary state and begins to feel like a new identity. It becomes something you inhabit, something you embody, something that radiates from you without effort. And when this happens, your entire relationship with money, with success, and with your own potential transforms in ways that feel almost supernatural. Yet they are completely natural once you understand the laws of mind and spirit. You begin to sense that the universe is not a distant, indifferent force, but a responsive field that mirrors the quality of your consciousness. This is the spiritual connection of the success mindset, the realization that you are not separate from the intelligence that orchestrates opportunity, synchronicity, and abundance. You are part of it. You are connected to it. You are influencing it every moment through your vibration. When clarity becomes your dominant vibration, You step into an entirely new dimension of personal power. You begin to feel less attached to outcomes and more aligned with the process. You stop measuring progress by external results and start measuring it by internal coherence. You stop seeking reassurance and begin trusting your inner guidance. You stop trying to force manifestations and start allowing them to unfold. This shift is not born of passivity. It is born of confidence. True spiritual confidence is the knowing that the universe responds to alignment, not to effort alone. Earl Nightingale constantly emphasized that we become what we think about. But what he really meant is that we become what we consistently vibrate. Bob Proctor explained the same principle when he said that the subconscious mind controls almost all of your results because it controls almost all of your vibration. When your thoughts, emotions, and identity fall into harmony, you activate the highest creative force available to any human being: coherent consciousness. Coherence is clarity in motion. Coherence is identity in alignment. Coherence is vibration made stable. And when coherence becomes your norm, success stops being a destination and becomes a natural expression of your consciousness. People may look at your life from the outside and call it luck or talent or special timing. But on the inside, you know exactly what is happening. You know that inner clarity reorganized your outer world. You know that your vibration summoned those opportunities. You know that your alignment created that flow. The inner world is always creating the outer one. Always. Most people never see this because their inner world is filled with noise. Their vibration is crowded with worry, insecurity, comparison, self-doubt, fear, and past conditioning. They are not lacking intelligence. They are lacking clarity. And clarity is spiritual. Clarity comes from awareness. Awareness comes from alignment. Alignment comes from remembering who you are. You are not your fears. You are not your limitations. You are not your old patterns. You are not your past. You are consciousness, pure, creative, powerful consciousness, expressing itself through a physical body, guided by a mind that can either be your greatest ally or your greatest obstacle. But now, as clarity deepens, the mind becomes your ally. The subconscious begins working for you instead of against you. Your vibration becomes intentional rather than reactive, and life begins to respond with precision. You may start noticing that you worry less, even in situations that once caused intense anxiety. This is because your identity is shifting. The old you operated from fear-based thinking, the belief that circumstances were bigger than consciousness. The new you recognizes that consciousness is always bigger than circumstances. You may begin realizing that decisions that once felt complicated now feel simple. This is intuition awakening, the voice of your higher self speaking through the silence that clarity creates. Intuition does not shout, it whispers, and only a clear mind can hear it. You may even begin experiencing what Bob Proctor called quantum leaps, sudden, dramatic improvements in your results that defy linear logic. These leaps do not occur because you worked more, but because your vibration changed. And once your vibration changes, the universe must rearrange itself to match it. This is why clarity is more valuable than strategy. A clear mind makes successful strategies obvious. An unclear mind cannot recognize opportunity even when it stands directly in front of it. Clarity turns on the inner light, and once the light is on, the path becomes visible. As clarity strengthens, you begin to feel money differently. It stops carrying emotional weight. It stops representing fear or lack. It stops feeling like something you must chase or prove yourself worthy of. Instead, money becomes neutral, simply energy responding to alignment. And when anything becomes neutral, it becomes easy to receive. Money flows where clarity grows. And this clarity, this deep, grounded, spiritual clarity, begins to affect every part of your life. You show up differently in your work. You communicate with more certainty. You trust your decisions. You follow your impulses. You listen to your intuition. You take inspired actions rather than pressured actions. You hold a vibration of abundance rather than fear. And because of this, people respond to you differently. They feel your energy before they hear your words. They sense your confidence before you express your ideas. They recognize your inner stability before you take a single step. This is the hidden advantage of spiritual clarity. It influences the world around you without you needing to force anything. This is not charisma. This is coherence. Coherence is felt. Coherence is magnetic. Coherence is the signature of someone who is aligned with their higher self. And you are becoming that person. The deeper your clarity becomes, the more naturally you attract wealth, opportunities, inspiration, and purpose. Not because you are trying harder, but because you are becoming someone who is aligned with abundance at a vibrational level. And abundance is simply responding to itself. As we reach the close of this block, take a moment to feel the shift inside you. Feel how your awareness has expanded. Feel how your identity has stretched into something larger, calmer, more powerful. Feel how your vibration has lifted into a higher frequency of certainty and calm. And if this message is resonating deeply with you, leave a comment. Share the insight, the moment, the phrase that awakened something inside you. Your words will help reinforce your clarity, and they may awaken clarity in someone else as well. There is a moment in the evolution of every consciousness when clarity stops being something you reach for and becomes something you radiate. It becomes part of your energetic signature, part of the way you perceive yourself, part of the frequency you broadcast into the universe. And from this moment on, life begins to reorganize itself around your new identity. Because your identity is the command signal that instructs reality on how to respond to you. You can feel this happening within you now. There is a growing steadiness, a quiet certainty, a sense that you are no longer navigating life from the insecurity of old patterns, but from the groundedness of a deeper truth. And that truth is simple. You are not separate from abundance. You are connected to it through the clarity of your consciousness. This clarity has been building block by block, layer by layer, vibration by vibration. And as it deepens, you begin to experience something that very few people in the world ever truly access: the spiritual momentum of success. Spiritual momentum is different from discipline. It is different from motivation. It is different from ambition. Spiritual momentum is what happens when your vibration becomes so aligned, so stable, so coherent, that success begins accelerating towards you without the friction you once felt. It is the energetic version of flow, the rhythm of life moving with you, through you, and around you. This momentum does not require force. It requires clarity, because clarity removes resistance. And when resistance disappears, abundance expands. You begin to feel this in the simplest ways. As soon as you wake up, your mind feels lighter. You no longer start the day from heaviness or worry. Instead, there is space. Space to think, space to feel, space to receive intuitive guidance. That spaciousness is a sign that your subconscious mind is no longer battling your desires. It is supporting them. This is the internal victory that precedes every external breakthrough. You start to sense that you no longer think as the old version of yourself, the version who doubted, who hesitated, who questioned their own worth. You now think as someone who knows that they are connected to infinite intelligence, someone who knows that success is not earned, it is aligned with, someone who knows that clarity is the bridge between thought and manifestation. This new way of thinking changes everything. You begin to make decisions more quickly, not because you are rushing, but because you are guided by intuition instead of fear. You feel less afraid of making the wrong choice because you understand something profound. Every choice made from clarity leads to expansion. There are no wrong choices when made from the vibration of alignment, because even the detours become steps forward. This is how spiritual intelligence works. It transforms uncertainty into precision. It transforms hesitation into movement. It transforms doubt into inner strength. And as this transformation stabilizes, your behavior naturally begins to shift. You no longer chase opportunities. You evaluate them. You no longer cling to what isn't aligned. You release it with ease. You no longer hold on to beliefs that limit you. You see through them. You no longer operate from resistance. You operate from intention. This is what it feels like when clarity becomes identity. And as your identity shifts, your energy shifts. As your energy shifts, your reality shifts. You begin to enter what Earl Nightingale called the fertile field of the mind, a state where ideas take root quickly, where inspiration flows effortlessly, where solutions come instinctively. Bob Proctor would describe this as raising your frequency, moving your consciousness into harmony with the life you truly want to experience. And when your frequency rises into this level of coherence, money begins responding almost instantly. You might notice that new sources of income appear unexpectedly. You might notice that long stagnant situations suddenly break open. You might notice that people begin seeking your energy, your ideas, your presence. You might notice that paths you once believed were closed suddenly open. This is not coincidence. This is coherence. This is clarity. This is alignment. Clarity has unlocked the subconscious gates that once held your potential hostage. The limitations that felt heavy no longer belong to you. The fears that used to dictate your choices no longer define you. The identity that once kept you small has been replaced by the identity of someone who recognizes their spiritual connection to abundance. This recognition is everything. It is the inner switch that turns ordinary thought into creative power. It is the moment when wealth stops being something external and becomes something vibrational. It is the instant when you realize you are not trying to attract money, you are allowing it. Allowing abundance is the highest form of creation, because the universe is not withholding anything from you. It is responding to you. It is matching you. It is mirroring you. Your inner clarity is the instruction. Your vibration is the blueprint. Your identity is the frequency. When these three align, manifestation becomes inevitable. And you feel this inevitability growing inside you now. You feel a lightness, you feel a knowing. You feel a sense of expansion that comes from deep within. As if your soul is stretching into its natural size after being compressed by old beliefs. You are stepping into the version of yourself who no longer doubts their worthiness, who no longer questions their potential, who no longer diminishes their vision. You are stepping into the version of yourself who understands that clarity is the true spiritual wealth, the foundation upon which all other forms of abundance are built. And as you continue to breathe into this identity, you begin to notice something extraordinary. Life starts saying yes to you. Not because you forced it, not because you earned it, not because you struggled for it, but because you finally aligned with the version of yourself who was always meant to receive it. This is the spiritual connection of the success mindset in its purest form, the merging of consciousness, vibration, and intention. It is the moment when you no longer imagine abundance. You embody it. There is a moment, subtle, quiet, yet unmistakably powerful, when you realize that the entire journey you've been walking was never about acquiring success, but about becoming aligned with the version of yourself who naturally creates it. This realization is not intellectual, it is vibrational. It is the moment when everything inside you clicks into place with a calm yet undeniable certainty. You can feel this moment rising within you now. It feels like a soft expansion in your chest, a widening of your awareness, a sense of energetic solidity forming at the core of your being. It is clarity, not the temporary clarity that comes and goes with circumstances, but sustained clarity, spiritual clarity, the kind that creates a new foundation for your life. This clarity is your new home, your new baseline, your new vibration. And from this vibration, everything changes. You start to sense the true architecture of your reality. That the subconscious mind is not a storage unit for memories, but a transmitter of vibration. That your emotions are not reactions, but indicators of alignment. That your thoughts are not random, but chosen signals. That the universe is not distant, but responsive to every frequency you hold. This understanding transforms you at a level so deep that you can feel the old version of yourself dissolving. The version shaped by fear, doubt, hesitation, and inherited limits begins to fall away like dust carried by the wind. You no longer identify with that version. You no longer think through its lens. You no longer vibrate at its frequency. You are stepping into a new identity, the identity that was waiting for you to become clear enough to embody it. This identity does not chase abundance. It emits abundance. It does not fear uncertainty. It thrives in it. It does not wait for reassurance. It generates certainty from within. It does not struggle for direction. It receives direction intuitively. This is the identity of clarity, and from this identity flows a natural sense of success. Not the success defined by comparison, ego, or external validation, but the success defined by inner alignment, expansion, and purpose. Success becomes something you are, not something you pursue. You begin to notice that your inner dialogue is transforming. The voice that once worried about the future now trusts the unfolding. The voice that once questioned your capability now speaks with authority. The voice that once doubted your potential now recognizes your infinite nature. That voice is the voice of alignment. And as it strengthens, so does your vibration. And as your vibration strengthens, so does your influence. And as your influence strengthens, so does your abundance. Because abundance is not money. Abundance is energy. And money is one of the ways that energy expresses itself in the physical world. This is why people who are spiritually aligned attract wealth with surprising ease. They are not doing more. They are aligned more. They radiate coherence. They emit clarity. They operate from a vibration steady enough to create stability in their outer world. You are becoming one of those people. You can feel it in the way you breathe. Deeper, slower, calmer. You can feel it in the way you think. Clearer, more deliberate, more grounded. Or you can feel it in the way you sense life. As if everything is connected. Everything is responsive. Everything is working with you rather than against you. This is the spiritual success mindset. The merging of inner clarity with universal intelligence. Earl Nightingale said that the strangest secret is that we become what we think about. But the deeper truth is that we become what we vibrate about. Thoughts may inspire action, but vibration commands reality. Bob Proctor taught that when your subconscious mind accepts a belief, your vibration shifts. And when your vibration shifts, your entire world rearranges itself to match it. This rearrangement is happening for you now. You may not see all of it yet, but you can feel it. The quiet reorganization of your life beneath the surface. The momentum building in your energy field. The internal signals becoming stronger, clearer, more precise. You are becoming someone who naturally attracts opportunities instead of searching for them. Someone who naturally receives inspiration instead of forcing ideas. Someone who naturally attracts money because money is drawn to clarity, certainty, and coherence. The vibration you hold right now, in this very moment, is your most powerful form of wealth. And as it stabilizes, your reality will begin reflecting it with increasing speed. You will notice synchronicities appearing more frequently. You will notice doors opening that once seemed closed. You will notice people showing up who align with your next level. You will notice your inner state becoming unshakable. This unshakability is your spiritual foundation. It is what allows you to move boldly without fear. It is what allows you to receive abundance without resistance. It is what allows you to embody success without effort. And as you stand in this new vibration, breathing calmly, feeling deeply, expanding inwardly, let this truth settle into you like warm light. You are not trying to attract clarity. You are clearing the way for the clarity already within you. You are not trying to become successful. You are remembering that success is your natural vibration. You are not trying to bring abundance into your life. You are aligning with the abundance that has always been flowing toward you. And now, finally, nothing is blocking it. This is your new frequency. This is your new identity. This is your new reality.